Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the show. Let's get straight into it, shall we? It's myself and Lee Judges that are back. We've got Kenny Ken with us tonight. Disappointing as far as Arsenal are concerned in the last couple of games. And I have to say that there's a lot to be discussed tonight. I've got to say, I've been really, really disappointed with what I've seen in the last week around Christmas. And it has, in fact, ruined people's Christmas and New Year, which is becoming a bit of an issue. Listen, Judges, you were there, mate. I'll start with yourself. And we're just going to go into what we thought went wrong, because for me there was a lot of problems and a lot of concerns, and I want to try and ask you the questions of where does the blame lie here? Is it the players? Is it the manager? Is it both? If it's circumstances that perhaps are a way out from both, do you look at injuries? Do you look at lack of squad depth? What is it? Because for me there's so much here to dissect. I don't really know where to start, brother, if I'm honest.
Well, this is how I see it, and at this moment in time. Last season, when we was playing really, really well, it was all about Mikel Arteta, Super Mikel Arteta, nothing about the players. It was all on the manager, and the manager's brilliant. This and this and that, Super Mikel. The song was given, everything about it. Now all of a sudden it's the players. So I'm not buying into that. I'm buying into that whatsoever. I'm going there like, this is at Mikel's door. And I'll tell you why I think it's at Mikel's door. And before anybody says anything, I'm not calling for him to be sacked at this moment in time. What I'm doing is I'm going to criticise him, because damn right he needs to be called out and stop. Like I've seen today on Twitter, people wanting to slag off Ramsdale, slag off certain players to give this man a pass. No. Right. This is how I feel about it. I've watched every game this season. I think that at times we've looked like a little bit better at controlling the game. I've nowhere near enjoyed watching the games of football this season as much as I did last season. I'm going to be really honest about it. He's changed the style of the team. He's changed the goalkeeper. Let's get on to that first and foremost. He's changed the goalkeeper, which has not improved whatsoever. He's we can see goals from calls. I'm not saying it's down to Raya, but we can see goals from set pieces now. We didn't last season. Right, that's one thing. We changed the style of play. We don't look as like we're going to get a goal. Not for the first time this season in a game that we've not looked like scoring. We'll also blame Mikel. If you're going to drop Jesus, right, fair enough. But dropping for Eddie after one bad game, right? After one bad game. I also think Trossard played one bad game yesterday and was before and was dropped. David Raya has had 5-6 bad games and is still in the team. One rule for one rule for another. Not having it no more. Call out this manager when you see it and see it rightly. And I see yesterday a performance. Well, I wouldn't say he's lost the dressing room, because that's harsh and it's not unfair. It's unfair. But when I go to a game of football, I've gone to games this season. We've lost against Aston Villa, lost against West Ham. I've not done my nut down and not lost my shit and gone over the board about it, because I've seen us give it a battle. I've seen us be what you could say unlucky or whatever. I've now come away from Fulham, who lost at home to Burnley last home game, outplay us, outclass us, outfight us and fought us, win every individual battle all over the park, first half and second half. I then question what is going on. And I have got every right to question what's going on after a performance like that. And this is not just after one performance. Oh, it's two. I've heard people say it's 2 games. Where have you been? We've lost more than 2 games this season. I've seen lacklustre performances at a few grounds this season. Sometimes we've got the result. Sometimes we haven't. I've seen draws when we should have won. I'm probably going from it all. Now, all of a sudden, it's all on the manager now. Because I can tell you now, Dan, and I'm no expert, that Kivior can't play at left back. And there he is being rolled out at left back again. And again. And taken off at half time again. So when players are playing bad, I understand they get left out. Jesus left out. He can play in any three positions across the front three. And as far as I'm concerned, he's one of our best players. Forget about his goals. He contributes other ways. He's left out for Eddie, who comes in and does nothing. That's on Mikel, because Mikel has kept him and kept faith in him. Nothing to do with Eddie. That is to do with him. Right? And that's how I feel about it this moment in time. Now, I'm not going to go overboard and say that he should be sacking the manager, but I am asking questions about this manager now. Like, you know, I really am now starting to say, right, come on, what are you going to do? Because you've changed everything. You've changed, you know, I'm fed up with hearing defence after defence of Raya. Oh, look at his stats. I don't give a fuck about his stats at fucking Brentford Football Club. Do you fucking understand me on that? I don't give a fuck. All I give a fuck is what he has done in an Arsenal shirt. And it ain't been fucking good enough for him to stay in, week out, and other players being left out when they fucking make mistakes or not playing like. Jesus dropped after one poor performance, Dan, right? One poor performance, dropped. Raya in against the poor performance against Luton. He's in the next game. So that's what I'm at. And I don't want to hear about defending this and defending that, like, you know. Now, I'm telling you this now. A lot of fans, Dan, are starting not to turn on Mikel. That's the wrong word to say about it. What they are doing is they're starting to question it now. Even the loyalist fans in some of my WhatsApp groups, oh, I'm not so sure. Yeah, I think maybe that decision on the Ramsdale thing may have had something to do with it. Forget about whether you think it's right or whether you think it's wrong. I'm looking at team morale, team everything now. Like, why are we getting outdone by a team like Fulham in every single department? Now, you can say it's a one-off, and maybe it is, all right? But you've now got chances to go on and get and you've got a break now after this Liverpool game to go on and sort yourselves out, like, you know. And that's where I'm looking at Mikel now. Sort it out. Make some break decisions. Go back to what we was doing last season. I'll tell you what, if you don't win the league, at least you can turn around and say, do you know what? I'm proud of the lads. I'm proud of every game. I wasn't disappointed last season that we didn't win. Of course, I was from one point of view, but I was proud of the way we played and what I was seeing. From day one, Dan, I will see it. This time around, I don't see it. I don't see it when I go away from home. There's been times when I've been absolutely going, God, this is crap. You know, I go on. I know we beat Brentford, but it was not a great game to watch, Dan. There's been a few like that. Enough said.
Now, listen, before I bring Kenny in, I'm going to have my say as well, because I feel like there's a lot that you've said that I can build on, Lee. And a lot of people, anytime you question Mikel, look at people like myself, Kenny, and other influencers around the Arsenal YouTube world and say, oh, they can't wait to get stuck into him. They can't wait to have a go at him. Now, I'll raise concerns and I'll give him criticism just the same that I give players and himself praise as well. Because when he does not deserve to be praised, I will not praise him. Now, I look at this season, forget yesterday, I look at what's happened this season. We are apparently completely changing our style of play because last season it went wrong. We didn't need to do that. Last season, it wasn't our style of play that lost us the league. I'd argue, in fact, that it was our style of play that gave us a chance of winning the league. So we didn't need to go on this defensive controlled football. That's my first point. The second thing, if we're so controlled, why have we conceded more goals at this point last season than we did last season? That's my other question. If we're so controlled, why have we scored less goals than we did last season? It ain't working. The goalkeeping situation, we can keep talking about it because it is still relevant. We had Martinez. He dumped off Leno. He dumped off Martinez. He brought in Runnison. He brought in Matt Ryan. He brought in Matt Turner. How many goalkeepers does this geezer need? Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, they went and bought in Alisson and Edison. Done. This geezer's still mucking around with them. 4 years into the job, 10 transfer windows, and we're still not sure who our number one is or what our goalkeeping situation is for the future. Because I tell you, one of them's leaving, and it probably is going to be Ramsdale. Left back, we gave one away on to Spain. Now we're trying to play Kivior there. What's Kieran Tierney doing out on loan then? Why is he out there? Mikel Arteta's decision. Another left back that we're trying to now buy. Who was the other left back he bought? Nun Savage, where's he? Not good enough. So that some of the recruitment has been shocking. You can look at Erdegaard's and Ben White's and Gabriel's and Parties all you want, but some of his recruitment has been shambolic, and we're seeing it again. And all people will do is say, "Well, Tierney's injured, mate, and Timber's injured, mate." I don't care. Go and buy someone to replace him. What did he get rid of Tierney for on loan when we're trying to now find one that can actually defend? Because Kivior can't play at left back. We're having to pray that Tomiyasu's there. Oh, he's now out of the Asian Cup. So that's on Mikel Arteta. We've still got no cover, by the way, for our right-sided centre-back, William Saliba, who got injured last year. So if the same thing happens, we are now playing Kivior back there again, or we're shifting one of them across, i.e. Ben White, and having to play Cedric there now because Tomiyasu is gone with Timber still out. So we're a mess. Every single department still isn't fixed. Then he goes and replaces Granit Xhaka with Kai Havertz. Two completely different players. And then Martinelli's game is now being affected because he's got no left back at the back, and it's different every single week. And he's got a different left 8 every single week. Now, I'm looking at Martinelli's performances and actually questioning him as well, by the way, not making making excuses for why he's not been good. But he's got a different player behind him and a different player on the left, right, 8 every single game. I don't get it. Rice has played there. Havertz has played there. Fabio Vieira has played there. What's his name has played there? Smith Rowe has played there. Trossard has played there. Same as your left backs. Zinchenko's played there. Tomiyasu's played there. Timber started there. Kivior's played there. It's mad to see that this is still happening 4 years into the process. Then he keeps hold of Reece Nelson and Eddie Nketiah to back up Saka and Jesus. Neither of them are good enough, by the way. I'm not blaming Reece Nelson or Eddie Nketiah. It's not their fault. It's this manager's fault for keeping them in. Eddie Nketiah has gone 366 days without scoring an away goal in an Arsenal shirt. And he's playing ahead of Jesus. What is going on? If you want to drop Jesus out the side for poor performance, play Havertz there and do something different in the middle by playing Smith Rowe in there or something like that. Yeah? You want to drop Martinelli out there, play Trossard on the left-hand side. Don't put Eddie in, who ain't scored a goal for God knows how long away from home and expect him to score because he was poor. And by the way, might I add, plays for 95 minutes. Couldn't tell you what he's done. Havertz, invisible. Eddie, invisible. Saka, woeful. No one wants to talk about Saka because he's star boy. He's been shocking, mate. Absolutely shocking. And yesterday was one of our worst players. But Martinelli, let's all cane on Martinelli. He's not been very good. Saka, star boy. Can't talk bad about him. No, he's been shocking, mate. Let's say how it is. Erdegaard, so predictable with everything that we're doing. So predictable. I said it on my channel. He gets the ball, he goes right. He goes back to Ben White because there's nothing on. Saka's double teamed up on. No one helps him, so it goes back to Erdegaard. Erdegaard back to Ben White. Ben White gives it to Rice. Rice gives it to Erdegaard. The right-hand side ain't working. Let's shift it over to the left. They shifts it to the left and Martinelli goes, nothing's on. I've got 2 men on me. I'll go back to Zinchenko. Zinchenko into Havertz. Havertz back to Erdegaard. Erdegaard into Jesus. Jesus got 3 men on him. He gives it to Martinelli, who's got 2 men on him. This is predictable. All of them in a low block are sitting there going, this is easy. Jesus. When is this manager going to work out a low block? Question for you. When is he going to work that out? When are we going to have answers? Because he's sitting there at the moment scratching his head, rubbing his chin. I can't get through this. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make like-for-like changes. Trossard will come on for Martinelli. We all know it. Eddie, when he isn't playing, will come on for Jesus. And he'll probably bring on Trossard. He'll probably bring on either Smith Rowe or Nelson for one of the others. And then if he is going to muck around with the midfield, it'll be a Jorginho like-for-like if we are winning. And maybe Tomiyasu might come on for Kivior, which, by the way, was a mad decision to be playing him at left back. Let me tell you that, when Tomiyasu was fit. So I've got serious question marks, and I can't understand why no one else does. I had concerns over the 9 out of 10 window that I said was a 6 out of 10. Now it's proven to be right. It was a 6 out of 10. We're miles off. We've got Liverpool today bringing on players like Gravenberch and Jota, and we're bringing on Nelson and Eddie. We're going for the title. We are miles off the title, mate. We are 13 points off of where we were last season. 13. And Man City, by the way, who were in a crisis, are 2 points off of last year. Madness. Kenny, talk to me, man.
Well, the thing is that me and Lee were both there. The common denominator is, and you both touched on it, teams have worked us out. Simple as. Newcastle had a blueprint that Aston Villa copied, West Ham copied, and Fulham copied. As I said to my Fulham mate yesterday, you're going to beat us easily because this is all you've got to do. Put men behind the ball, win every second ball, stop Declan Rice. You'll win that game so comfortably. Take your chances. We've got nothing coming off the bench because our bench, you've got a few pork chops, in the fan base. As you said, the 9 out of 10 window. I mean, some of the people, they need to be muzzled for life or just, stop being a fan and just, do what they're falling into, which is journalism, because you can't represent the club accurately. Because at the end of the day, one of the things about football, it's all about stats and data. When you have stats and data, that equals the facts. That's when your opinions become worthless. The fact is, our problems started last season. We can talk about the great play from last season, how we enjoyed, how we played. We did for 93% of the season, but the league was lost, during that time. And that's one of the reasons why Mick Arteta has changed their style. Whilst we were celebrating the Bournemouth game, whilst we were celebrating the Villa game, both those games, we conceded 2 goals each. Teams were beginning to realise that because we were getting bodies forward, because Ramsdale was not good with his feet, he was kicking the ball into the middle. Teams were getting us on the counter-attack and having one-on-one shots at our goalkeeper. Mikel's never recovered from that. That's why what you're seeing. That's why you're seeing this style of play now. And when we play like this, where we slow down the tempo, that gives the opposition chance, encouragement, not only one to work us out, but encouragement to say, right, let's leave it as it is. Because when it wasn't working, do you remember the last minute goals against Man United, Brentford away in the league, and then Luton? We had to go that well because of our athleticism, our fitness was getting us into situations where we were banging on that door. Now, when teams are now fitter and they're not conceding last minute goals, they're getting in their faces, making sure they're dominating possession. There's no way back, and that is the whole situation. And this is on Mikel, but it's because he panics. But when you talk about Xhaka, being replaced, you guys have watched Arsenal just as many times as I have, home and away. Obviously, you've done a bit more ways than me, Lee. But Arteta's style of play has changes every season. The lockdown season was when he was trying to get rid of players, but he was trying to keep the blend of experience is different. And then 2022, he brought in the youngsters. And then 2023, he found a position of Xhaka. Now we're completely different. You're just going to have to get used to it. I'll tell you one thing now. One of the reasons why we're in the shitter is because that bench is a disgrace.
Yeah,
it was like yesterday. He was drawing. It was like he rolled the dice and said, "Right, what number I'm going to is going to fall my way." Looked at that. Oh yeah, I'll bring him on. That's how it looked. You look at ESR. We sing a song about him. He is light years away from being in this team. If he can't get in against Fulham, then we've got a problem here. The manager does not rate him. And then you look at the last 3 games. If any of you guys can tell me, hand on heart, tell me what impact our substitutes made in the last 3 games. Let's talk about Liverpool. Yeah, we've got the point. But seeing Liverpool's performance now, they missed a trick. And seeing our performances after Liverpool, they've missed a trick. They should have smashed it to pieces if they believed in themselves a bit more. But what impact did Trossard have at Anfield? I can't think of any. And then we go to the West Ham game and just pick, again, no impact for our substitutes. And yesterday was even worse. It was laughable. Tomiyasu, who everyone's praising, was just as bad as Kivior. You look at their winner. It was down Tomiyasu's side. I mean, how many times did Fulham have to overlap on his side for him to realise we got a problem? Gave one corner away, got lucky. Second corner away, bang, goal. Let's look. Why aren't we talking about Benjamin White here? We know he's struggling in the new system, but he was a joke for their equaliser. He's an embarrassment. Saka wasn't much better, but Benjamin White's defender. I mean, he had warning signs that, they're overlapping with Robinson and Willian. Did he take him? No. Willian has a shot that Cole's past the post. No danger signs. I would say, right, we've got to look at that right-hand side. No. Let's let them do it. But it gets better. Kenny gets down the left-hand side on Benjamin White's side and then puts the ball in net. But instead of taking off Benjamin White, who was at fault for the goal, you take off Kivior because Kivior's not a star player. But you're playing Kivior at left back because, Zinchenko's ill, and that's the thing. Stop talking about this manager in positive terms and stop talking about his bench. It's crap. It's been crap for years. The manager knows it's crap because he won't trust people. El Neni still at the club. Are you having a laugh? Reece Nelson still at the club. Are you having a joke? Eddie Nketiah still at the club, and you want to challenge the title? Do me a favour. And you've got a pork chop on social media and saying, "Don't have a go at Arteta. Yeah, it was all right to be angry with him, but he's made us believe." Believe in what? Believe in what? 2022, he bottled the top four. Tottenham came from behind, where we pulled a hammy in the last straight of the 100 metres and got a top four. Don't get me started last season, where all of us talked about the problems that, something's not right here. Teams are, conceding chances. We're getting worked out a bit. No, let's, you're all negative. We win and you're still complaining. What happened? We bottled the league. All this bollocks. Sorry about this. Kids are watching. I'm really sorry, but I'm angry about Saliba being injured, and that's why we didn't win the league. Oh, please. Stop talking out of another part of your anatomy. We lost the league because we couldn't keep clean sheets. And Ramsdale, your Ramsdale, Peter Shilton, Ray Clements, you name it, Gordon Banks in one, was part of the problem. And that's the situation. The reason why a lot of fans are angry is because it hasn't improved. But that's the problem. If you look at, the situation this season, it seems like the players that he's bought are the only ones who seem to have, get what's going on, i.e. Declan Rice. Havertz is coming to a bit of form. Raya divides opinion. Personally, I think his kicking is a lot better. He saves, that's just an opinion. But the biggest worry is Saka's gone backwards. Martinelli's gone backwards. White's gone backwards. Jesus has gone backwards. That is the massive situation. Your top four player, and Odegaard as well. You look at the performances from last season to this season. What does that say? It blatantly says there's something the manager's doing. Is he overcoaching us? Is he overthinking things? Either way, it's got to be on him. And if you want to call for his head, why not? Why not call for his head? It's don't just talk about the last two games. What about the last 4 years? It's not working out. Why can't people just say it? I couldn't give a rat's ass about, how you look on Twitter and how your friends are going to stop talking to you because, you're slag of the manager and you're being a bit out there or you're being toxic. Who gives a monkeys? Arsenal comes first, second and first. Arsenal comes before your marriages, as far as I'm concerned. Comes before your family. For that 90 minutes, the club comes first. All you should be about is Arsenal winning, competing for the titles and eventually winning them. That is the main goal. And if this manager can't deliver it, because collectively, deep down, all three of us think the title's over. So we now got the top four. Now we're looking at the FA Cup, because let's be honest, if Porto watched how we played this season, last 16, if they don't play any other way than Fulham, Newcastle, Aston Villa, and West Ham, then they pull chops. That is a blueprint. They play like that, use the same formula, win all the second balls, and then you keep possession and get in behind us. They'll beat us easily home and away. We'll lose the second leg as well. There is something fundamentally wrong. But the problem is, what's wrong is the manager. Never satisfied how we play, worried about conceding goals, slowing down the tempo. I've never seen a long pass. Whenever there's a long pass, he goes mad. I sit near him at the ground. Odegaard on Thursday played a long angle pass for Martinelli. Gets cut out by Souček. The manager's going absolutely mad. So you can't have a long pass. You can't play the diagonal ball, and you can't shoot for 25 yards because the manager's scared that if the opposition break it down, they're going to outnumber us in the midfield, and then they're going to have attacks. Trust me, this manager is too clever for his own good, and it's to the detriment of this club and to the detriment of us now and there. We all know how he's going to fix it, but I can tell you now, I promise you, you're not getting a striker. You're going to get a midfielder. You're probably going to get another defender. He will not change their style for a new striker. So we're going to have to wipe our mouths, bite our tongues, and just pray Jesus scores goals. Pray that, those players start putting the ball in the net. The Sakas, the Odegaards, and the Martinellis. Because I'll tell you one thing there, this is our system, and we've got to like it and lump it. But I'll tell you now, at the end of the season, if we don't win anything, I'm not scared to call it for him out. I'm going to be Arteta out, and I'm going to want him replaced. Because as far as I'm concerned, that man has taken us as far as we can go. And you shouldn't be ashamed to say that. It's no disgrace in doing that. Has he done a good job for Arsenal? Yes, good, but not good enough. Because he hasn't delivered titles. He hasn't delivered trophies. Move on. Let's get experience in. We've given him a chance. You can't say he hasn't been given all that time. You can't say it.
Let me ask you this, Lee, quick, because there are a couple in the comments I agree with. Adam says, why don't we go for the kill when we score first? Which, again, yesterday was a crazy thing to do. Go 1-0 up against Fulham and then just change and sit back and not do anything on the manager. And this as well, what players has Arteta improved this season? He's been improved players for sure, right? But this season, I want to ask you, because I'm going to give you a couple of names. Declan Rice, but he weren't with us last year. Gabriel and Saliba. Everything else, I would say, everybody else has regressed. Is that all of them just being, maybe they weren't as good as we all thought they were, maybe they overachieved last season? Or is it the style of play and the manager and this new system that is affecting Martinelli, Saka, Jesus, Odegaard, Ben White, Zinchenko? List goes on, Lee.
Listen, I think there's a little bit of that they overperformed last season, to be honest. Look at Newcastle. I think they overperformed last season to what it was. So it's hard to create that again. So I go along with that. Like, I slightly disagree with Kenny a little bit about when we lost Saliba last season, because I'll tell you what, we just come back when we lost Saliba and we lost also Tommy Asu. We just beaten Fulham 3-0 and played them off the park. Right? And at that stage of that season, before them two went out, I never had anybody turn around and go, we've got to replace Ramsdale and whatever. Like, the performances of Ramsdale, I agree with Kenny then, did drop after that, like, along with a lot of other players, right? I get that. I've seen on a comment like about Ben White. Let's talk about Benjamin White for a second, like, you know what I mean? I'm fed up with people turning around, he's carrying an injury. What makes everybody say that he is carrying an injury? Because what you've read or what you've told or whatever. If he's carrying an injury, right, why is the manager bringing him on against PSV in a dead rubber with 20 minutes to go if you're carrying an injury? Doesn't make sense. You would never do it. So don't give me that he's injured and start making excuses and all that. Like, he is out of form for whatever reason. And I do believe it's a little bit down to the system, Dan, because he was overlapping last season, getting involved down the right-hand side with Saka. But if you have a look at it now, there's a ball where he gets the ball and Saka comes running in and he collects it, like, you know what I mean? And then, like, he goes in right into the midfield, right? So what happens is teams have sussed that, coaches and everything like that. Well, so what they do is they put an extra man in the midfield, let Saka have that ball, let him come into the crowd, and he will lose it and he'll get overcrowded. That's what's happening. So I think it's a little bit of tactics on that side of it, like, you know. Everybody was moaning about, you know, people turn around at me and say, Zinchenko can't defend, can't do this, can't do that. No one, when I walked out of Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last season, January, whenever it was, January, I think it was in January, no one was walking out and saying, oh, Zinchenko can't defend. That was going how bloody good he was. Because the system and style that we were playing was quick, fast, decisive, and we was getting through the lines a lot quicker, and he was excelling. Now, I'm not being horrible, you know, it's walking pace. Declan Rice walks the ball at times. I'm not criticising him. Like, you know what I mean? It's walking. I do think that we may be missing Thomas Partey a little bit. I also think that we're missing Granit Xhaka on and off the field, because I think that sometimes, you know, on field in a dressing room makes a lot of difference. Now, I'm going to go back to the dressing room thing, Dan, right? Now, I've played football at a good level. We've all played good football at a good level. Dressing rooms win you games is a saying. It's a saying, okay? Right? You've taken Granit Xhaka out of there, like, yeah? Now, I also think by taking out Ramsdale, whether you think that's right or whether you think that's wrong, I'm not going to argue with that point. I was talking to a fella yesterday at a party about it, and we had a great conversation about it. No problems if you don't think that goalkeeper is good enough and you drop him. But my God, when that goalkeeper comes in, or whoever it is, he has got to be at a higher standard and a higher level than what you've got.
Agreed.
And the facts are the matter is he isn't. I don't know if there's an upgrade, and I don't know if it is true. But what I can tell you it is that can upset the apple cart. It can upset when players look at that and go, do you know what? Let's be honest about this. Be really honest about this. We've won the FA Cup is a fantastic achievement, yes, for the manager. That's one thing that keeps him going, yeah? The other achievement is getting him into top 4. Right? We got into top 4. Super Mikel gets us to Champions League, yeah? Martinez was our goalkeeper that won him the FA Cup and the Community Shield, by the way. Right? Dumped. Ramsdale got us into the top 4 as a goalkeeper and won us the Community Shield. Dumped. So, when you're a player, just say that I'm Trossard, for instance. You get with me where I'm thinking about it. You're in a dressing room environment. You're sitting around in the canteen having a cup of tea and your poached eggs on toast in the morning. Think of what I'm saying here, like, yeah, right, okay, right. Trossard plays one game, one piss poor game. Jesus plays one piss poor game, they're dropped. Right, they're sitting around the environment of it all, like, you know. I've had one bad game, I've been dropped. He's had 3 or 4 back in the goal there, still in. Still in. What? Kiviar's had 2 or 3 bad games, just back in. Shinchenko's had 3 or 4 bad games, still in. Why am I being dropped? Jesus, why am I being dropped? All gets into that dressing room thing. Now, all that dressing room last season took us over the line on certain games. You remember Tottenham last season, the fighting and everything like that? All together. 2 little incidents yesterday that I see. Now, I'm not saying it's because of the Ramsdale situation, but it's all little things that are chipping away on team morale. Right? 2 things yesterday. Gabriel and Declan Rice were having a row. Right? In the field. I see Martinelli coming off yesterday. I know, forget about Smith Rowe putting out the thing that his hand, you know, he might have missed that and all that, like. But you can see there's discontent. Discontent starting in the dressing room. I see like Smith Rowe come on West Ham, done okay, didn't he? I see Trossard have an absolute shocker of a game. What ball comes up first yesterday? Trossard. Back in the canteen, what I'm saying, like, I've done really well at West Ham. I come on, you know, I've done better than, but he's back in front. What's going on? Questions all coming into it. And I'm telling you that now, team spirit is not like it was. You know, Odegaard was left out for 3 or 4 games. All right. Now, I've been told different things and whatever like that. One of them because he got bang on the head. Is that true or not true? I don't know. No one knows, do they? Not sure. No one knows. So when you hear about someone like Ben White being injured, playing through an injury, a hamstring injury, I've been told. If I had a hamstring injury, what's it like, you know, don't go to PSV, mate. You stay at home. No reason for you to come up. Because if we win that game, it doesn't matter. If we lose that game, it doesn't. You're telling me that he's risked him for a £2 million payout game? Do me a favour. Don't start blaming other things down on it all. Like, look at the manager. He's the one that is accountable. Now, he can put this right, because I'll tell you that now. I'm not saying that Raya is anything to do with it. Like, I mean, I'm not saying. But what I'm saying is, you made that decision, right? Still conceding goals, conceding from set pieces every week, and we are worse off from that. I'm not just saying that's the only thing, but that's one of the decisions that you've made that's not improved this team. You've also made a decision to bring in £105 million player, and it's not improved the team. You've also brought in £65 million player in Kyle Havertz, hasn't improved the team compared to last season. I also now going to say at the end of it, and I've been really honest about this, and in his defence, I think Thomas Partey's a massive, massive loss to us from what we was like last season, because he can get the ball and pick up things in and around that. Right? That's a loss.
We've been saying that for weeks, though. Kenny and I have been speaking to the ground about it. It's obvious.
Lee made some good points. One thing, obviously, I disagree with you on the riot situation.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Fair enough. I think it's done. It's done. But my anger towards Mick Arteta regarding the Ramsdale situation is how he's done it, and that is where I've got a massive problem. And that's where I think the players are going to get the ump. You've been tracking this goalkeeper for 3 years. You've made no secret about it. Even the guy who like I said, clears the bins at Seven Sisters Road knew we were getting Raya. It wasn't like a deep secret. But the situation is, right, if you bought Raya and he's available for selection at Crystal Palace, you should have had the balls to go out to Ramsdale and said, right, that's it. You're not. I brought this guy to my number, and you're now my number 2. You should have done it. But to let Ramsdale play against Crystal Palace and then let him play for the rest of the month, Fulham, and then play against Man United and then drop him for Everton, that's where I've got a problem, because what it's telling me is that you've basically, without telling Ramsdale the full story, you've given Ramsdale's an impression that it's a two-way fight for the number 1 shirt, when really what you were doing is that you're just playing Ramsdale so Raya can get up to speed in training. And then when Raya's ready, you're bringing him in. That's poor man management. Throw him in the deep end. I think the players will have more respect for Mikel Arteta if he had dropped Ramsdale and played him properly.
Done it properly, Ken. That's what you're saying.
Me and you had a conversation about it at Crystal Palace, at Crystal Palace League before the match, and I had arguments about it because I was going spitting mad in the away at Crystal Palace. I was saying, "What the hell's going on? You play Raya now. If he's your number 1, why is Ramsdale even getting considered?" And they're going, "Oh, where Ramsdale?" And look how it's worked out now. You've got a situation there where you've lost Ramsdale. You've lost him. So if he's popular within the dressing room, because obviously English players are very popular for simple reasons that they basically bring the dressing room, together, because they know the English culture, they know, what TV shows to watch, which houses to buy, those sort of things, and they can help with English lessons or slang with our foreign players. They're going to look at that and say, "You're out of order," because of how you've done it. And then when Ramsdale plays against West Ham and Brentford in the Cup, he looks shaky because, he's got no confidence because he knows my manager don't want me. And then the Brentford game, even though he won it, there was instances in the first half when he was basically a bag of nerves because he was trying to play like Raya and it went wrong. It was going to go wrong. But thankfully, Brentford didn't have their shooting boots on. So that I do 100% agree with it. But the problem is right now is that he's created a situation where Ramsdale's got to leave the football club. He's got to go because the longer he's here, he's a reminder of his poor man management, and that is going to affect the dressing room. Then you know what I mean? Because I'm hearing stories that it even gets worse for Ramsdale, because I'm hearing that in training, it's made it abundantly clear and made it obvious that Ramsdale's persona non grata, that it's all Raya this and Raya this.
I know what you're talking about, by the way.
How you done it, how you do it, and how that permeates towards the squad isn't good.
True. That is disgraceful.
Yeah.
What's that? Sorry, repeat that.
The way
the situation.
there's a lot of rumours about the training is all done in a different language, and Ramsdale don't know what the hell's going on because they're all, you've got the goalkeeping coach Raya and Arteta talking in the same language. I was told that as well. That is disgraceful.
Can I just throw you a stat? Can I just throw you a stat, Ken? It's just someone just messaged me who's listening to the channel. Just throwing me a stat. All right. Hold on a minute. Let me get it up. Arsenal have conceded 10 goals from their last 18 shots.
We're more controlled. We're more controlled, mate.
Yeah,
better.
See that? So again, that you can't deny it because again, teams are working this out.
Who's picking the goalkeepers, Ken? Who's picking the goalkeepers? Because I see Turner the other day. That was a goalkeeper we had. You know what I mean? A liability.
Well,
isn't that 6 goalkeepers, mate, in 4 years? This might better. 6 goalkeepers in 4 years.
The problem we're going to have with goalkeepers. The problem we're going to have with goalkeepers, as long as we have managers like Jurgen Klopp, Mikel Arteta, to a lesser extent, Ten Hag, but definitely Pep Guardiola, you're always going to have a problem with goalkeepers because the strengths and weaknesses of the goalkeeper, where you're saying come for crosses, you know, cutting down your angles, you know, being a great shot stopper, you know, command your area. That's a given now. Unless a goalkeeper's excellent with his feet or above average for his feet, they're not going to play. It's simple as that. And we're just going to have to wear it. So if Raya doesn't work out, we're not going to go back to Aaron. He's going to look for another goalkeeper until he gets it right, just like Guardiola did. Guardiola, let's not forget, everyone just says that Guardiola, you know, as soon as he got rid of Joe Hart, he got Edison. He didn't. He tried Claudio Bravo, who was about probably the same height as Raya, but excellent with his feet. But every time, you know, someone took a shot on target, he went in the net. So that is a situation where, you know,
Ken, can I just I'll just tell you something, because I don't know if people will know this, but you'll know this because you was there yesterday. When Raya got injured yesterday,
yes,
there was fans singing Aaron Ramsdale's name.
Yeah, right in front of me. Yeah,
a lot of people turning around going, "I'll leave it out. That's a little bit wrong and all that." This is what it's done, Dan. This is what it's done, Ken.
Yeah, it has.
It's caused too much.
We'll come Chelsea way. Oh, we're in the stat. You obviously you're in the you're getting wet whilst I was in the warm. Oh yeah. Every time I talk about Chelsea way, I ain't forgotten what happened. What happened there. You're never going to be forgiven for that.
No, I think you've never forgiven me for that, like, really, have you? Like,
I'll never forgive you for that. Anyway, Chelsea away. when after you know, like Mudryk scored that goal, and then Raya had a chance where he needed to clear the ball, and you know Palmer nearly robbed him. Same thing happened. They start singing the song, and I think that's the thing. We've got a division there where it's now affected the fans, where fans will never admit it because they're like to be seen as, oh, he wears a red shirt, we're going to back him. No, you don't.
Managers done that, though. Managers
games, home and away games, our fans, the match-going fans, and that's the barometer, as far as I'm concerned, they'll never accept Raya now. Even if he has a good performance, it don't matter, because as far as they're concerned, you're right, the manager's created that situation, not where he's affected the dressing room, and what's happening right now, they can see with their own eyes how he's done it. If he'd done it in a professional way, you know, sold Ramsdale, did it, you know, like I said, with a bit of respect, I think the fans would be okay with it. But if you've done it that way and you've still got the player at the club, fans are never going to accept Raya. And then what will happen is that, right, because of how you've done it, we're expecting, you know, Raya to be something like him, you know, Zubi Zareta, you know, one of the great goalkeepers, or a Buffon, or you know, that kind of thing, because that's how the manager's built it. He's got rid of Ramsdale because he's got a superior goalkeeper. He's going to be his number one. He's great with his feet, but he's also can do the basics. And when we're struggling on that, it's not happening. That's the situation. All down to his overthinking, and that's the problem. He's overthinking, and his desire to be the bestest coach, you know, that, or be another like philosophers are like Rinus Michels or Herenio, Helena, all those sort of guys who created systems. It's going to cost him his job here, because I can tell you that one thing. If I was Mick Arteta, I'd just take one look at the Cronkies, that a mass, and give thanks to the Lord and say, thank God we got the Cronkies as our owners. Because any other owner wouldn't be putting up with this. Wouldn't have this. They wouldn't have his he don't want to have his results. They wouldn't have his inability to get the top four in 2022. They wouldn't have his inability to deliver the league. Because let's face it, everyone's going to say we're ahead of schedule and that, you know, we overachieved. But let's not forget, a team in the East Midlands had a 5-year plan to get in Europe. In 2016, they overachieved, but they delivered the league. So you can't use that excuse and say that, oh, it was a Roy of the Rovers situation. Mighty Mouse, you know.
I can't stand all this phasing crap as well. We're only in phase 4.
It's happened. Right? Yeah, because at the end of the day, once you get the chance of winning the league, you've got to take it with both hands. Just like Villa did in 81, right? And Leicester did in 2016. Just like Villa won the Champions League in 82, and Nottingham Forest won it in the Champions League in 79 and 80. When the opportunity is there, it doesn't matter whether you've got the experience or not, you take it. If you can't take it, then questions will be asked about your ability to deliver at the big moments. And that is Mick Arteta's epitaph for Arsenal so far. When it gets big moments.
That's the thing, Ken. That's the thing for me. Like, I don't really understand all this phase. Oh, we're only in phase 4. It's all excuses for if it don't go right. Well, we're only in phase 4. None of this crap anymore. The process is done. Yeah, the process is over. We should be right now in 4 years, £700 million spent, 9 transfer windows in. That is enough backing to give a manager everything he needs to go and win the title. Emery is in phase 1 and he's ahead of us with our old goalkeeper, by the way. Old manager, old goalkeeper. Yesterday, I saw Iwobi, I saw Leno, and I saw Willian. Players that we got rid of 4 years ago, outplaying our players now 4 years later. What is that all about? So it ain't going well to play like people think, right? Let's just say how it is.
Well, at Tottenham, though. Postecoglou.
Phase 1. Postecoglou, phase 1. Absolute string streak.
Did you see his interview?
Point behind us now.
Yeah. Did you see his interview? He had me in stitches, and I had to laugh at his humour. But the way he went, oh, you're now a point off the top 4. And he went, excuse me, we're 3 points off the top. You couldn't argue with it. You know what I mean? Obviously, they're now 6 points off the top to Liverpool 1. But, you know, he's basically saying this team that's in front of us in the top 4, i.e., you know, Arsenal, we're only a point above them and they just lost, yet we're meant to be light years behind them. That's what he's basically saying.
It's true. That's absolute facts. And Emery can look at it and go, yeah, at the moment, I'm the one who's not looking like a muppet because I've taken Villa from 16th and I've put them into a title race right now if you're going to go down that road and look at title races now. But Lee, there's someone else bugging me. We ain't even spoke about it yet, so I want to do that as the last part. 20 goals Arsenal have scored in open play this season. We are basically relying on set-piece goals. But set-pieces are still a massive issue for me, mate. Because I'll be looking in the training ground and I would not be letting Trossard near another corner until we sorts it out. Because it's either Trossard can't take corners or he's being told, just don't beat the first man. Just don't beat the first man. Because that's where it's going every single time. Defensively, again, from set pieces, we ain't good enough this season. This Nicholas Yova guy who was praised the Messiah 18 months ago because we only conceded 2 in a season from set pieces. Where's he gone? Is he still there? Because I can see him. Is that his brother there? Is that one of his, like, is that like a hologram? Because we have got worse from set pieces. And corners, by the way, are a shambles. Absolute shambles taking them. So we have scored goals from set pieces. We have scored goals from corners, free kicks, crosses, right, this season. But I am sick and tired of having a corner and you may as well do one of 2 things. Give it to the goalkeeper and say, we won't bother, just kick it out because we know where it's going. Or pass it to Odegaard in 2 yards and let him just dribble it from the corner flag in because it is pointless taking corners so far. So then why don't they sort this out? Every last few games, everyone, I would love a pound coin for the amount of time everybody's shouting, shoot behind me. Shoot! Shoot! Because no one is. No one wants to hit it. Nobody does. Perfect goal all the time. Thread it through, give it to Erdegaard, he'll find that magic, we'll flick it, we'll cross it, we'll dink it. No. How about have a dig? Because we've only scored 2 goals from outside the box this season, apparently. So that is again Mikel Arteta's style. He's being told hit the corners to the near post and flick them on. That's got to be the tactic. And do not shoot from outside the box because we want to score the perfect goals and we want to making sure we're flicking it and tricking it in the box. And that's got to change, Lee, because it's a disgrace, bruv.
It is, but let's be really honest about it. It should be very, very difficult to score from set pieces because everybody works on them, so it should be very, very difficult. And it is from our attacking point of view. We have scored from set pieces this season. We're not likely to score one every game because at the end of the day, teams work on it. It's very, very difficult to score goals. You've got to have the perfect delivery, perfect shot. Realistically, if you're being honest, to score a perfect goal, I think I would be honest that the one against West Ham this week was a fantastic header, and you'd say that's a great goal, but it has to be. It's really, really hard to do. So, and we've scored on a few of them. The fact is that when it comes to the other way, when now we're defending them, it's every other game. It's a lot easier to score goals against us than it is for us to score goals from set pieces, and that's not right, Dan. There was a time, and I'll give credit to Mikel Arteta and his coaching staff for this. There was a time when every time I got caught, oh no, in Arsene Wenger's days, I used to be really worried about us conceding from set pieces. Then there was a time when we got a corner. That's all right, fair enough. We know we can defend it. And last season, I'm going to go on to last season again, we defended set pieces really, really well. I weren't that way. Every time a team gets a corner now, I'm a nervous wreck, Dan. I'm a nervous wreck. And there we are again. I'm not blaming Raya on this because I don't think he was at fault for the goal on against West Ham. And I don't think he was at fault for the goal against Fulham. Certainly at fault for the goals against Luton. So, you know what I mean? So in this month of December, I've seen us concede minimum four goals from set pieces. You know, that's in a month, Dan. You shouldn't be conceding that in a whole season, realistically. You know, so but we've conceded them in a month. So something's not right. Now, I don't know what it is and what it isn't. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're telling me that goal that Fulham scored was a good delivery? No, it wasn't. It was just put into an area and we panicked and just didn't clear our lines. You know, Gabriel miskicks it straight into Tomiyasu. It bounces straight to their fella and he bangs it in. But we're not dealing with set pieces. We're not defending them properly, like, you know. Now, again, you know, you can say that Raya is not as what's the word? A commanding 6'6" goalkeeper and all that.
I agree with that. He ain't commanding at all, Raya.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with it and all that. But again, I'm not saying it's down to him. But there's got to be a reason why we've gone. All the last season got conceded one or two. I think the season before that one, or it didn't even concede one. I think the year before that. So in 2 seasons, we've conceded 2 set pieces. In the last 2-3 months, we've conceded 6 or 7 goals from set pieces. So something's not right and things like that. So we've got to sort that out. We've got to start defending properly from set pieces. And as I say, you know, the one thing that to make you score from set pieces, you've got to have the delivery right, you know, and the delivery has been piss poor. Piss poor. I remember last season, I tell you what, I remember the game against Fulham. We kept putting it on the near post. I was getting frustrated. Why are we doing it? Why are we done it? And then Leno dropped one in and we win 2-1. And you think, well, they've sussed it. They looked at something and seen it. I don't see that happening again this season, Dan. I don't see like, all right, well, why are we doing that? You know, and the delivery's right. And if you can't get, if it's Trossard not delivering, we'll get someone else to deliver it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so as I say, it's very, but it's costing us. Cost us yesterday. You can go on about decision making. You can go on about the team selection, missing chances. Like if we defend that corner properly, we probably end up with a 1-1 scoreline. It can be cover 1,000 sins if you like, but we're conceding goals. You know what I mean? Like the goal on against West Ham for 2-0, it's a sucker blow, and it once you're 1-0 down, 2-0, it takes a little bit more out of you, So, yeah, I think it's something that has been a problem. It's been a problem all season, and again, I go back to it. We've changed a lot of things, and it's still not working. There's something not right with our defending. I think Kenny said it earlier on. We don't keep enough clean sheets. We've changed the goalkeeper. We're still conceding goals at home. We've conceded goals at home for the last 2-3 seasons when we've had 60, 70, 80% of games, Dan. We've conceded goals, you know what I mean? So I don't know what the answer is to it, but it's certainly not been been something that we've improved on.
No, listen, Mikel Arteta, I didn't listen to his interview after the game. I was out for New Year, but someone said, if we just repeat what we did in the first 19 games, then we'll be all right. And I just thought, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? He comes out West Ham, we played really well, thought we were really good against West Ham. What is this guy on about? Now, some of it could be mind games and sticking up for the team and the players, right? I get some of that stuff. But we ain't winning the league if we play like this for the first 19 games in the second half of the season. Absolutely no chance. And I tell you, I'll come to you with this, Kenny, if he has the arrogance to throw another trophy in the bin, in either be the FA Cup or Champions League, I want him gone. If we go out to Liverpool, there's no hard feelings for me if we've given it all. We played our strongest team, right? You can lose to Liverpool because they're quality. But if he goes into that game with Reece Nelson and Eddie Nketiah and Smith Rowe and Jorginho and El Neni and all these guys playing, I am going to lose my shit. I'll tell you that now. Because I do not. That is the one trophy I think we have got a chance of winning. Why? Because it's the FA Cup. We've got 14 of them. Yeah? We've got more chance of winning that than the Champions League or the Premier League, in my opinion. So if he throws that away again, like he has done for 4 years since he's won it, I don't want to hear anything other than this manager is throwing another trophy in the bin. And the Porto game, we can come on to, because that's going to be in a few months' time when we've got players back. But I want to be seeing a reaction from this, Kenny. I want to be seeing something different. I want to be seeing a style of play that we're proud of, that we're happy to watch again. And we've got to start by beating Liverpool, haven't we?
100%. Yeah. The fact is that there's no reason why he can throw the competition, because we've got a week off after the Liverpool game, because we're not playing that round of games. Yeah. So after Liverpool, our next game is going to be Crystal Palace on the 20th of 12:30 kickoff on TNT Sports. So that's ample time for him, for the players to have any rest or come back from any knocks. We know Aaron's going to play in goal. Aaron Ramsdale's going to play in goal. But apart from that, there's no reason why he shouldn't be playing a strong team, because it's Liverpool. Simple. Liverpool are going to go strong because, as far as they're concerned, the Europa League is not a competition they really want to win, and they're not really been going at. But, they're going to win a cup. They're in the semi-final of the League Cup. They're going to bring a big allocation of fans. There's no way that Klopp's going to throw it. Yeah, obviously he's going to lose Endo and Salah, but he's still going to be strong. So we need to go strong. We need to put in a performance. But if we're going to be playing at a slow tempo during that game, then it's going to be a long 90 minutes, very long 90 minutes. But yeah, we definitely need to see a reaction. We definitely need to go ahead for, hell and leather. Saka and Martinelli are going to play, because God help us if certain players do get a game, because, you're not really going to want to see Cedric. You don't want to see Reece Nelson, and you certainly ain't going to want to see El Neni. So you're going to go strong. But this is a game now. We need to draw a line under these performances, accept the fact that that's how teams are going to play against us. But guess what? When teams got a low block and they try to get man behind the ball, the great teams like the Man Cities and Man United's of the days, and Liverpool's in the 80s, you know what they did? You just drag them out of position. If someone's going to mark you, all right, let him follow you. That leaves space for others to exploit. But you can only play like that if you move the ball quickly. If we're not moving the ball quickly, then we're not going to hurt teams. It seems like first 10 minutes of a match, the tempo's high. After that, goes low. And that's where we give the opposition too much encouragement. That's where it needs to improve. High tempo against Liverpool, getting that fourth round and, go for that cup. Because trust me now, that is our best chance of silverware this season. and it may keep Mick Arteta in a job and on side with certain fans. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not a fan, and I feel I want him replaced because I think there's more experience out there. But a trophy is a trophy, and I'll be celebrating, you know, on the streets of Islington after I come back from Wembley. And if there's a parade, you'll be seeing me there, Lee, Dane, because I love winning. Winning's beautiful.
100%, and that's what it should be like. You know what I mean? Like that's, you know, listen, I respect your opinion, Ken. If you want the manager out, but I know deep down, what's more important is to win. Arsenal winning, and that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? That's why we're all pissed off. I hate it that we lost yesterday. Like I'm going to be really honest. I don't know about you guys and all that. I had a really good time last night. Out, you know, went round friend's house for a party. It was fantastic, but it was 95% good or 90% good. If we'd have won yesterday, I would have been that little bit more happy. And I woke up halfway through the night, you know, punching my pillow because, you know, we'd lost the game. You know, that's how I am. You know, I want to win. You know, and come Sunday, I'll be back in the boys to win, and hopefully win.
We're the third biggest club in the country, and we need to stop making excuses and stop using the, you know, like swear words like transition and process, because the situation is the pressure. Oh, bloody hell, there's a Tottenham fan there, isn't it? Henry Wright.
Big up, Henry.
Here we go. If anyone needs a trophy, he does. 15, 16 years of
that as well. You accept that as well. He will.
But you know, that's the whole situation is that we've got to start asking that a big club, but that comes from the manager, but also the board. You know, whoever's on the transfer committee needs to be looking at the bench and say, look, get rid and get a strong bench. That bench is one of the major problems that's stopping us from competing for major trophies. Because
I don't know why people won't accept that. I don't know why the crime is to question the bench. I don't get it. Last season,
because Smith Rowe.
Here's a serious question for you. Last season, who is different we're bringing on from the bench than last season? Name me the players that are different that are coming on. Because apparently it's fixed and we're 9 out of 10 window.
No,
who's coming on that's different? There ain't no one. It's the same players.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that bench, 99% of those players know they're not part of the manager's plans. Unfortunately, we've got to make some hard decisions. If Smith Rowe is as far away from the first team as I think he is, then let's use his money to get some better quality in. Let's use let's sell Ramsdale if he's not part of the team and get some quality in. Let's be hard nosed. You know, there's a lot of, you know, homegrown players and English players.
Man. Get a striker and still Eddie, man.
Eddie Ketters who've been dumped by big clubs because big clubs need to go that certain level. You know,
I will say on the bench, though, guys. I will say on the bench, if you know, I mean, if to be really honest, if Thomas Partey was fit, if and everybody has injuries, I get that, like, you know what I mean. But if Timber was fit, who else? I can't.
How many attacking players are we bringing on, Lee? How many?
No, I think that's where we're. That's where I think, you know, we're a little bit light when we look at the bench. If I'll be honest, at the end of the day, we're taking off Jesus. We're bringing on Eddie. We're leaving out Eddie. If we're leaving out Jesus, we're bringing on Eddie. It's not, you know, that's where we've been let down. You know, as well as Reece Nelson has done, he's not at the level of Martinelli and.
Has he done well? Has he done well, Lee? Has he done well?
Not this season. I don't think he's really been given a chance. He done well for us last season.
Last season, take away the goal against Bournemouth.
Well, he got a couple of games.
Take away the emotional euphoria. What has Reece Nelson done at Arsenal that has made?
He got a couple of goals against Forest. I'm not saying he's been magnificent, but that Vieira's, you know. But you've got, it's very, very difficult, Ken. You know, as you know, like when you're coming on as a sub, getting 10, 15 minutes and making things, it's very, very difficult. I don't think he's had opportunities, and when he's done okay, he's never been able to hold down a regular place. And I'm going to be really honest about this. You know what I mean? When people say that he's not good enough, sometimes there are players in the squad that you need to that have to make up the numbers and add it up and all that, like, you know. and I do believe that, you know what I mean? And I don't think that he's the worst player that we've got at the club. I think there is a talent there, but I'm not saying he's one that you need to rely on, like, you know, and I don't think we've got enough of that going forward. I don't think we've got enough of that. Because I look at Jorginho, if I'll be really honest about it, guys, I think he's done okay when he's come. Where's he been the last 3 or 4 games? Do you know what I mean? Just sort of been disregarded, like, you know.
I think against West Ham is the sort of player game for him personally.
Yeah, but you know, yeah. So, but I do agree, like, you know what I mean, that we need to get another forward in, like, you know, but we ain't going to get one in January, as Kenny said earlier on. But, you know, it's very, very difficult to get someone in January. Who's going to give us a forward this time of season, like, you know? You're only going to get players that are not playing.
It's the summer. Once again,
it's a summer. I agree. I think forwards, if I'd be really honest, are summer signings, aren't they?
I don't know, man. I mean, we bought Aubameyang in January. We bought Arshavin in January.
Yeah, it can happen every now and then. That's true. Yeah,
it's got to be. You're right, though, Lee. It is hard. I'm not saying it is, but it's supposed to be easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You pay a lot of money. You know what I mean? It ain't spark. We tried. I hate that. And they do. We tried. We get that all the time in summer windows. We're trying. Try fucking harder then, yeah? Because we've got a title we're going for here. We've got Eddie and Nketiah up front. What's going on?
All right. Logically, guys, you look at Brentford's results, group results. They got Mbeumo injured. Wizard couldn't hit a barn door from about half a yard, yet alone a yard. They got a player who after was it in the middle of January, the 3rd week in January, he's available for selection. Would you be selling Ivan Toney to Arsenal when you're in a bit of a rut where you're getting dragged in the relegation? It's not happening, is it? It's not happening. And then you've got the situation with Osimhen, Champions League and Napoli, and you know it's not going to happen. So we're going to have to wait till the summer to make a decision, because that's our best chance, because that's when Mick Arteta changes their style of play anyway. So, God help us, mate. God help us.
You made a great point earlier on, and I think you're right when you say it. Like, he has got to get a tune out of the ones that are there. That you know, Martinelli's got to get better. Saka's got to get better. Jesus has got to get better. Dare I say it? Eddie's got to get better. This is now on the manager to get them players playing better, so that we haven't got this problem. I think you're dead right what you say there. Dead right.
Yeah, I'm with you. Listen, we're going to go into the transfer window next show, because obviously it's only just opened and I don't expect much, if I'm honest, but we do need Tank. Let's be real. Big up Kenny for coming on, man. Always
cheers,
a pleasure,
Kenny boy.
Bro.
Really enjoyed it. I've got some news for you guys, and for the people, if anyone's interested. I'm flying out tomorrow to Iceland for a few days, but we'll come back on Friday night, and then obviously it's funny how it's worked out that I'm available. I'll be able to watch the Liverpool game. I don't know how God's on my side. He always makes sure that when I book trips, it doesn't interfere with Arsenal matches. Jesus
well
Christ,
done on that.
Just watching over me. You know, he loves me, mate, and he understands, and he thinks that one of the 10 commandments is that myself, I'm not going to talk myself in the 3rd person because that's quite arrogant, but he's made sure that the 11th commandment is that I should never, ever miss an Arsenal game. So no weddings, no funeral, and no trips away should get in the way of Arsenal. He always makes sure.
Why Iceland, Kenny? Why Iceland?
Oh, it's my wife's turned 50 in December, just last
and she
month.
wants to go Iceland.
Yeah,
nice
but believe it or not, she wants to go to Northern Lights, and she said it's always a dream. And you know, when you don't really see Iceland as an ideal destination, it went this year and went out the other, and when she never mentioned it, I just hope she wouldn't mention it again. And my daughter decided that it would be a great day, now she's 50, to make it happen. And I had an option not to go, but then I thought, well, I don't know, it's pretty cold, isn't it?
Yes,
which is obvious.
Where you're at.
Supposed to be lovely, man. I'm not being.
Shall I wear pajama bottoms in my jeans when I go out there or something?
Yeah, some long johns, mate.
Some long johns out of Marks and Spencer's, worth a deal, like it.
Well, go tomorrow. So I don't know if there's any Marks and Spencers in Iceland, or I don't know.
I think it might be one at the airport. What airport are you going to?
All right, so Luton Airport, Parkway.
I don't know about Luton Airport, but like, you know what I mean? Like, stop off at Marks' on the way, get some thermal underwear.
Yeah,
you won't, you won't regret
I've got
it.
You'll need it, Ken. You'll need it, mate.
I've got some thermals, and I've probably got some. I'm probably going to wear an Arsenal hoodie when I go out, because they want to go out on a boat trip, to see the Northern Lights. So
good luck with
I know. Well, Lee, you're more than welcome to go to my place if you want.
Listen, big up for coming on, Ken. Much appreciated. Lee, I'm going to ask
right,
you to answer this question because it's come up about 4 times and I feel bad not answering it. So I'll let Lee answer this one from Lee. He says, "Hi, guys, if at the end of the season we condemned to play in the Europa League on a Thursday night in the season of 24-25, does that make Arteta's position untenable?"
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
One word answer.
I
agree.
I
totally agree.
Yes. Yes,
yeah,
because
I think it does. Unless it depends if they get to the final of the Champions League and miss out on penalties or something like that. I don't know, but if we end up being 5th and 6th on, you can't. Yeah,
I think even if we finish trophyless and come top 4, I think he's unattainable. I don't. How long would we give this guy? Another.
Well, I think if that happened, you'd probably give him another season, but he'd be under intense pressure if things don't work out. If we,
you know what it is, guys. You know what it is, guys. If you're at a top 6 club, like basically like the position that you always want to land. If someone's chucking you out of a window, and you want to land on a mat, the mat that you want to land on is the top 4. Your top 4. So, for instance, if you're a Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Liverpool, and Man City, if you can't win the league, the conversations always drop down to make sure you get in the top 4.
Yeah,
that's what happened with Man United after Fergie left. It's that when we've a few times after Abramovich has left, got forced out by the British government at Chelsea. The top 4 is a conversation. I'm sure if Man City ever go in transition, it's always going to be their fault.
He won't get sacked if we.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He won't.
Newcastle.
I don't even think the Cronkies will sack him if we get 6th. I really don't. I honestly.
Yeah, that's why we need new owners.
They love these new owners. Everyone loves them now because they're spending money. But anyway, that's another convo. We are going to stop it there. Lee, hopefully you've had a happy new year, mate. Likewise, Kenny, and everyone in the chat as well.
Yeah, happy new year to everybody, despite that.
Happy new year, everybody.
Happy new year, everybody.
Despite the result.
Don't forget about it. Watch. Go on ITV2 or TNT Sports and watch classics of the big match from yesterday. Oh, sorry.
I love all
Terry
that.
Neal was we won nothing. Don't listen to me.
I love all that, but also watch the darts and forget about football for a couple of days.
Oh, mate, Luke Littler, come on, Luke, please win it.
Brilliant.
I would absolutely love him to win it. I really would.
They're just letting him win anyway. They're just letting him win. They're not trying. These grown men.
Listen, we're out of here, people. Happy New Year. Please enjoy 2024. We'll be back very, very soon with content. Big up to Kenny, big up to Lee, and we'll see you all next time. Take it easy. Up the Arsenal.